This is going to be probably the final, this is going to be the final tier list stream you see for a very long time, at least Overwatch related, because I just don't enjoy these as much as I used to be honest, but I promised you guys I would do a tier list for every single position this year, so we're doing it. I'm going to take a long break after this. Anyway, let's just get right into this. So, first we have Low Citrus, could go not enough playtime. Guy literally did not play a second. And now we could go on to Mono. And despite the NYXL not playing all that well, I'm still going to give Mono an S. I'm going to give him, like, bottom of S. I think A is also a very fair placing for him. I tend to have a very high opinion on Mono. I thought he kind of carried New York, despite being in a situation where it's practically impossible to carry. Because you have to think about it like this. The amount of resources that Mono was getting was very minimal. You're leaving the stream. See you later. Glad you can make it out at least for the start. Yeah, he was good. He was given no resources. Jonek was like very over aggressive this year. Hotba was all over the place. He kind of made the lives of everyone a lot worse. When Hoxel came on, I thought that made it even more worse because he likes to be aggressive as well. So then Animal's got to tend to those guys, you know? Animal's got to make sure that Jonek and Hoxel and Hotba aren't overstepping their boundaries. And then Mono's kind of just by himself trying to figure things out. And yet he still carried so many different times. So I feel comfortable putting him low S. Yeah, coaching's another thing too. Mono was in a hard situation, but he still found a way to succeed. A coaching tier list one day? Maybe. Alright. Next up, I believe this is J-Mac or is this Jihoon? Hold on, let me zoom in. J-Mac, okay, I was right. So J-Mac, I thought, was probably the weakest link on the Spitfire this year. I think that's pretty fair to say. I thought his Rhine was pretty bleh. His Orisa wasn't that good. They even tried running Jihoon on it. I didn't like his Winston much either. I'm going to put J-Mac D tier for the time being. I could maybe see a world where I put him like C-, but watching him play always left a sour taste in my mouth. He like got diffed all the time. Again, not entirely his fault because he literally played in APAC and APAC is kind of like stupidly stacked. But it's okay. J-Mac's in a much better spot now because he's like a goated coach apparently. He's going to be fantastic, I think, as a coach. I'm excited to see that guy. But as a player, he had his work cut out for him, sadly. It's all good, though. No big deal. Dreamer. Oh, God. I already can see all the comments now. ATP, you're the most biased Valiant fan ever. But I'm going to put him, like, low A. I think you could put him high B as well. I might move him there afterwards. But Dreamer was, like, easily one of the most pleasant surprises of the entire league, I feel like. Let alone the Valiant. He was very consistent, and I wasn't expecting much out of this guy at all. And I'm sure a bunch of you would agree with me there. This guy came out of Australian contenders. Like, he was a nobody. And then he ended up being a very reliable main tank player at the Overwatch League level. Was he the best? Did he make was he the best? No. Did he make mistakes? Of course he did. But, like, he just brought a lot of value onto this team that I really didn't think he was going to. Dreamer was pretty nasty. There wasn't a single hero I thought he was, like, god-awful at. Maybe except... No, actually, I can't even say his ball was god-awful. Maybe, like, average. But he was, like, pretty decent at Orisa. He's pretty good Winston. Pretty alright Ryan. You cannot wait for Hoppa. Oh, boy. I expected him to do better than Gig at the least. Yeah, I wasn't too sure coming into the season, to be honest. I didn't have a lot of optimism about the Valiant's tank situation at all. I'm sorry, but if Dreamer is A, then Fate is higher ARS. We'll have to see where I put Fate. We'll get to that. This is Mikey, so we're going to put him in not enough playtime. Hydration. Better than Muma? Yeah, I guess, but that's probably not saying all that much. I thought his Orisa was, like, okay. I just thought his Rhine and his Winston were not anything to write home about. He was hard at ball as well, actually. Maybe I'll be kind to Hydration and give him the low C. D's tempting as well, but I'll give Hydration the low C just because, like, he slightly helped the Outlaws' tank situation. It was better than Taimu playing Winston. Yeah, 2020 was quite the strange year, both inside of the game and out. I don't have much to say about Hydration, though. Like, he was just like a mediocre player who wasn't supposed to be a main tank to begin with. What else is there to really say? Like, this is a position that is not a natural position for him. Like, I'm pretty sure the Outlaws initially planned for him to maybe take over the main tank helm eventually, but he did start this year off as a flex DPS. Or last year, technically. But you get the idea. So, I mean, for what he gave... I think that's pretty impressive. Thank you for the bit. The 1 bit. Bremau. Sorry if I mispronounced that. I appreciate that. Muma S tier at smoking. It was almost as good as the Ryu Jae Hong main tank. Oh, Lord. Jihoon. Jihoon didn't play all that much. He played, like, I want to say less than 2 hours. So I don't know if I want to rank Jihoon. He played ball a couple times. I remember he played Orisa like a time or two as well. But he really didn't play all that much. His Orisa was pretty alright. But I didn't really get to see enough of him, considering he played like maybe 2 hours at most. So I'm going to put him in not enough playtime if you guys are alright with that. If I did rank him, he'd probably be like a little higher than J-Mac, I guess. But yeah, not enough playtime for me. Oh boy. And now it's time for the meme. It's time for the big meme, ladies and gentlemen. Muma. Oh boy, I'm sorry, Outlaws fans. I am so sorry. I'm so sorry. He was arguably the worst main tank we had this year, or at least one of them. What's going on, Major? Like, I just can't even begin to explain to you guys how insane of like a drop-off Muma had. Like, Season 1, he was just okay. Season 2, a little worse. But then this year, like, it was like unrecognizable how poorly he was playing like the entire year. And then he literally got replaced by Hydration. It was so sad. Like, will I make stories of some Overwatch League players? I'm not exactly sure what you mean by that. But Mumon Rhine was just something I don't want to have to watch ever again this year. Or during Season 3. Like, I don't know why he just, like, pressed the charge button for no reason and just go into his death. It made the Outlaws' situation just way harder. And even on Winston, he wasn't that great. He still kind of fed, like, not as bad as on Rhine. But just awful. Muma did not have a good time. Not entirely his fault, but he kind of played not where he needed to. Yeah, that's another thing, right, Toucan? Very resource-heavy player, and we're in a season now where you can't really invest that much into your tanks as you used to be able to. Fearless, Monka W. That's an easy S tier, easily. No doubt one of the top tier main tanks, like, just exemplary levels of skill the entire season. He was the Dragon Savior on multiple occasions. Unbelievably good Winston. Easily one of the best. Not even close. I think his Rhine is also a little bit underrated. Didn't get to play it a ton, but when he did, I felt pretty impressed. The only thing I wasn't crazy about was his Orisa, but he got the job done. Yeah, his stats were incredible. Great player. Nothing but good things to say about Fearless. Did Fearless pop off last night? I didn't watch. I'm not too sure. Best Winston, arguably better than Smurf. Yeah, that's what a lot of people believe. A-Ting, Keck W. Oh, jeez. A-Ting. How much did he even play? Did he even play like more than 2 hours? Probably not. You should make a tier lower than D for Mooma. At least J-Mac didn't get benched by a DPS player. Yikes. I feel like you're overrating Dreamer. I'd put him like bottom B? Wow. I think that's a little harsh. My opinion, at least. A-Ting played like Winston like a few times or whatever, right? I mean, he probably played about as much as Jihoon, no? Probably not enough. Yeah. I mean, if I did rank him, he'd be like bottom of D. So, either way, he's not going to be high up on this thing. It won't be pretty to look at, because he was awful. Yeah, Gig's another not enough playtime. Cloudy's another not enough playtime. Where would you put Hanvin? He played Ball and Orisa. Cloudy Ryan was so much fun to watch, but we can't really rank him. So many not enough playtime. Yeah, it's sad. But now we can talk about someone who did play. Gamsu. My boy Gamsu. Compared to his Season 2 performance, I left kind of feeling disappointed. The whole entire Dallas situation wasn't anything pretty. It didn't really do any favors for him. But compared to Season 2 on Shanghai, it kind of just looked like a shell of his former self. I'm going to put him like top C. That might be a little harsh. But like, I felt so unimpressed watching Gamsu this year. That could just be me. Maybe it's just because Dallas weren't very good. And like, it was just the decay show for the most part when they were actually relevant. But I didn't really like Gamsu's play that much. He's like almost low B. We could move him afterwards. But just like, compared to how he played on Shanghai, it's very disappointing. Maybe my standards are too high, but just compared to Seasons 1 and 2, I just didn't see it with him this year. And he was with Note and everything, but there's just a lot of struggles. Season 3 Dallas was arguably the worst season Dallas had. I mean, not entirely wrong. I mean, Season 1 was pretty up there as well. Axiom. Oh my god, Axiom. Yo. It's probably another not enough playtime. Because, like, he played, like, I remember, like, the first couple of weeks, and then, boom. He just dealt with a bunch of stuff. He had to do a medical procedure, and then he just never really got better. Why is he even there? I don't know. I didn't make this tier list. This tier list was probably just, like, edited over time, like, made it at the start. So, and Axiom was relevant back then, the start of the season. He did play in the toilet bowl. Yes, this is true. All right. Numlocked. I'm leaning towards D with him as well. Maybe C. But was he really like better than J-Mac though? You guys all seem to think C. Very low C. His play was pretty comparable to like Hydration, I would say. Like, probably wouldn't be fair to put him D if Hydration is C. So yeah, I'd say low C is probably what I'd give him. To be honest though, I wasn't very impressed with him. It might be a hot take, but I really didn't think he was better than Beast. I know a lot of you in chat words. I know a lot of you in chat were saying that he was better than Beast, but I kind of disagree. I kind of felt like Beast did more. Maybe that's a hot take, but I thought Beast was a little better. I thought he got a little bit more of an impact with Ryan and Winston. Numlocked was probably the better Orisa, but either way, like, it's not like either of them were anything special. Smurf, not nervous. Oh, yes, Smurf. Wonder where we could possibly put him, chat. I wonder. Smurf was an absolute god. No question. No question. In my opinion, the best main tank of Season 3. Not enough playtime, yes. But, everything that Smurf did, all of his responsibilities, he handled everything perfectly. I don't have much to say because he did everything so well. His Orisa was just insane. His Winston was insane. I know most people are going to say Fearless was better at Winston, but you could argue that Smurf was like at the same level. I personally think Fearless was like a tiny bit better, but Smurf is very, very comparable. Overrated, high B. Yes. Smurf had the best Winston in your opinion, and I think that's a very fair take. I really do. Smurf can't play Ryan. Yeah, but that's not really his responsibility, because Super plays it. You don't need him to play Ryan when Super's on your team. What am I doing? Off tank? Right after I'm done with main tank, so just stay tuned. Smurf is also cute and wholesome. That is true. Do we really know he can't play Ryan? Yeah, like, that's the thing, right? His Ryan probably isn't even that bad. It's just he plays with Super. That's literally why Super's on that team, to play Ryan, so can't blame the guy. I don't hold it against him. Trill's going to go not enough playtime. That's a huge not enough playtime list. Sheesh. Smurf has a great monkey, and I'm talking about his plush. Nice. Pokepo, yo. Pokepo, a little underrated this year. He just never got to play because they preferred Gator for whatever reason. But I liked his Ryan like early season when he was comboing with Gator and Orisa Ryan. I thought that his Winston was pretty solid. I'm willing to give Pokepo a B. I honestly thought that the Rain looked pretty good when he was in the game. The fact of the matter, though, is that he just was on the bench most of the time. Kind of a shame he's probably not going to get a new team this year. I really think he deserves another shot, but unfortunately, we don't always get what we want in life. Big Pokepo fan, though, no doubt. I like that guy. Very happy with how he plays. Yeah, Gator synergy with Hawk is a big thing, right? I guess, like, for them, clearly Hawk was better than FRD/Fry, whatever you want to call him. So, don't want to risk any synergy issues. Pokepo's B and Gator is a C. Yeah, it's a pretty fair take, I would say. Beast. People are going to really hate me. I know it doesn't make any sense at all because Numlock literally came on this team to bench him, but I just thought that Toronto looked better with Beast. It sounds really stupid, but I kind of liked Beast more. We kind of already went over this, so I don't know what to say, but yeah. I mean, if I'm going to... Maybe I'll have to move things around after. Gator's Orisa was very good. Yeah, I apologize. This is probably a scorching hot take. But I thought Beast was definitely better on, like, Ryan and Winston. More of an impact, because, like, I saw someone in chat earlier say he's, like, flashier. Actually, that makes sense. Beast only had a worse Orisa. Yeah, that's what I think. The only reason that they really wanted Numlocked is just for leadership and calming, because Beast, I'm pretty sure, is like more of a reserved and quiet guy, and you want your main tank to be calling the shots and stuff. And Numlocked is not really afraid to speak his mind at all times. So yeah, that's what I have to say about that. Why is Mono not higher? I think he's still S tier. It's pretty fair. All right, let's do Fate, my boy. I love me some Fate. Always have loved him. I think he's an A tier. Better than Dreamer. Hydrate? I got you, Luck. Okay, anyway. What was I saying? Fate, a little bit better than Dreamer. Very, very consistent Orisa player. I thought that him and Gargoyle kind of synergized really well together. His Winston's always been solid as well. I think that Fate on Shanghai is going to kill it. I don't know if he'll be S tier on Shanghai, but he'll probably still be very good. Yeah, Gargoyle did really good with Fate. They were a great combo together. Fate is just really good. Very consistent. Like, I think another reason he's, like, definitely better than someone like Dreamer is he definitely has the better IQ. Doesn't really feed as much. He kind of knows where to be at the right time. He knows what to do. Man, I'm going to have to increase that hydrate points thing. You guys are going to make me overdrink. Anyway, on to Gesture. Gesture, I think it's a little bit of a hot take, probably. But I think he's like high C. And my reasoning behind it is that Orisa and Hog were pretty darn good. But I thought that his Winston was god-awful this year compared to what it used to be, and I thought his Rhine was also not very good. Yeah, I know, it is scorching hot for a lot of you, but Gesture straight up was not good this year, in my opinion, outside of Orisa and Roadhog. You have to balance it out. He is very inconsistent. You have to balance out the Gesture thing a lot. Like, you can't call him an A tier if his Winston and his Rhine were not, like, just straight up not good. I don't think you can. I really don't think you can. I don't think it's fair. I have sent chat into a frenzy, but that's how it is. Bro, his monkey was Zushu level. Okay, that's just disrespectful. Why wasn't Gesture off tank on Soul? He can play Hog and Sigma. I have no idea. Marvel is a better main tank than Gesture. I 100% agree. I think people highly overrate Gesture just because, like, his team went to the grand finals this year, and, like, he could play Orisa, and he could play Roadhog. I just don't think you can do it. He was so inconsistent. He showed up in some of the playoff games, yeah, but you have to look at the season as a whole. When you look at the season as a whole, it just wasn't that impressive. I can't. I think people are heavily overrating him because of the Dynasty's success. Or overrating him. Why'd I say underrate? People are heavily overrating him. Maybe I am underrating him, but in my opinion, he's not that good. Man's got boomed by Super on Hog. Exactly. I just don't see it. Like, the coaching, like, everything about how Gesture played, like, it wasn't what I've seen in previous years. Nah, ITP, that's the perfect pick for him. I'm glad at least you agree, Luck. And you're the Soul fan here. Just way too inconsistent. Like, I'll give him a C+. Take a bit. Thank you, Freeze. D for fusions. Minecraft Steve. Fusions. Let me think for a sec. Ryan was like meh. Orisa was just meh. Everything Fusions did was just like eh. He played on Boston. Was Fusions that bad? I mean, it wasn't awful, but I mean, compared to like the league as a whole, it wasn't anything like impressive. Will I play Pokemon after these tier lists? Nah. Okay. I'm gonna say that Fusions is like J-Mac level. I might... Oh, but is he really worse than Numlocked, though? Ooh. Maybe I'm gonna do that. He's better than Numlocked. I can't disrespect him like that. I think he was a little better than Numlocked. Alright, we'll do that. J-Mac is way better than Fusions. I don't think so, personally. Okay. Don't really have much to say about Fusions. He played on Boston. He didn't really have a chance to stand out all that much. I tuned in just the right time. How's the stream going? We're doing all right. We're at the point where people are starting to get a bit upset over my tanks, my tank tier list, but what can you do? Karayan. Karayan played the early stages of the year. He played a fair amount of Reinhardt. Not enough low C. Because I'm trying to think with Karayan, right? I can distinctly remember him playing that, what was it, like week 2 or something like that. Thank you again for the bit freeze. His Ryan was top 5 NA. Yeah, it was pretty good. Beer, not enough playtime. He only really played like Ryan though. He did play Orisa like once, right? Like maybe like Winston once, but like the main star of the show for him was of course his Ryan, and it was really good. I was pretty impressed. It's probably better than Fate's Ryan, but that's the reason he was in the game to begin with. Maybe like there for Karayan. Sure. You'd give him a B. He only really played Ryan, and everything else was just okay. He did show some promise. Only old main tanks have top tier Ryans. Facts. Why is Gesture above Karayan? I mean, it's just Karayan. Like, at least Gesture, like, showed a bit more. Like, at least he could play, like, more than one character decently. B for Brian Hart. Rio. Rio's, like, a solid B. Rio's, like, in the exact same situation as last year for me. Where he just kind of does enough to be, like, considered decent. But he never really shines. And I thought this year in particular, he was only really good at Orisa. No offense to Rio. Like, he's a rather consistent player. I think that he makes a lot of good decisions. But he wasn't all that impactful outside of Orisa, I feel. Just wasn't there for me. Even his ball wasn't what it was in Season 2, I feel like. Still decent, but he definitely did kind of get to take advantage of being on a really solid team in Season 3. Real Sigma Monka. That was just a one-time thing, though. I don't really hold that against him. Rio in general plays super passive with little mistakes. Yeah, exactly. He doesn't like to... I mean, that can be a good and a bad thing, right? He's not going to feed, but at the same time, his impact might be lower than some of the more aggressive main tanks. Smurf Zarya. Ah, yes. His Orisa was really good. Definitely one of the best in the league. I agree. Might move him above Pokepo. Maybe not. OG. OG's... I had a lot of problems with him this year. I was kind of disappointed. I was kind of disappointed with how OG played outside of Winston and maybe a little bit of Ryan, but he had to play so much Orisa this year, and he struggled. You could tell he didn't want to play that character at all. Apart from Monkey, he was bad. Yeah, I think that's a fair take. I thought his Ryan maybe was a bit overhated, but still not that great. I thought early season he looked a lot better when he didn't really have to play a ton of the horse character. OG was super underwhelming, but he wasn't awful, serviceable at best. I think that's a pretty good way to describe him. Next to Gesture, yeah, probably. Better than Gamsu. I'll put him next to Gesture, sure. That sounds about right, actually. I think you're onto something there, chat. He wasn't incredibly flexible, sadly. It was all about that Winston. Very redeeming quality for him, I would say. Between Hydration and Karayan. No, I would say he's a little better than Karayan. Can we remove Orisa? No one liked playing her against her. She's just bad for the game. Yeah, I wish. Hydrate should be 1,000 points. Yeah, I'm going to have to change that after. Muma greater than Smurf? I like Orisa. Gator. Little disappointed with Gator, I won't lie. I thought that Gator was gonna kind of, him and Hawk were gonna be like a good 1-2 punch. Maybe I let their success in contenders like get to my head a little bit. Gator. I'm gonna say Gator was pretty much only good on Orisa. Honestly, I thought Pokepo was a better player than him this year. So it's kind of sad that Gator got like all the playtime. So I'll give Gator like this. Hydration, the DPS or tank player. C, nothing too special. Yeah, exactly. He was mostly there for like synergy purposes, you'd have to imagine, right? He wasn't really quite there to be like a huge impactful player. I'm hoping maybe that can change next year, but just very mediocre. Very mediocre player this year. A-Monk. I'd hate to break it to you, A-Monk enthusiast, but he was only good at Wrecking Ball. I don't want to be a jerk about it, but I gotta be honest. I gotta be, like, extremely honest with you. He was only good at Ball, and when the Hunters tried to force meta and they'd play Orisa or Ryan or whatever it was, he never did anything. He never did anything. He's lucky that Ball was such a redeeming character for him. More bits if you put him in S. It ain't gonna happen. I'm not putting A-Monk in S. Like, in my heart, of course he's S. Smurf is the best main tank. In my opinion, yes, he is. C for Chengdu Zone, yes. Just because of the Ball impact and, like, because, like, they did go on, like, a win streak in the summer. I'll put him, like, somewhere here, I guess. Like, maybe, like, just because his Ball was so impactful, maybe, like, above OG. And don't even get me started about when he tried to play Winston. That was horrible. Maybe not entirely his fault, because, like, Chengdu were probably expecting A-Ting to, like, not be so bad. These 1-bit donations are great. I'm glad you're enjoying yourself. I appreciate the bits, though. I'd put Gesture in low B because there's too many C tiers. We'll see. Stand 1. Stand 1 I thought was pretty alright when he played. I didn't really have any complaints. I think Fearless was kind of just, you know, way better. Nothing wrong with Stand 1. Pretty good at Orisa and Reinhardt. I have no complaints. He didn't look too good on Hog. I have to think about this, actually. Let me think about this carefully. Do I want to put him above Gesture? He was probably a bit more consistent, but he did get benched. Better Hog, Orisa, and Ryan than Fearless, mid B. I don't know if he's necessarily a better Ryan. It's probably close. I'll give him the B. It might be a bit biased just because Shanghai were so good, but I'll give him the B. Why not? A, B, thank you for the 5 bits. Guxue. That's an easy A tier. Easy A tier. Guxue was a god. Maybe, like, he didn't get noticed as much, but still very solid nonetheless. Guxue overrated. Like, I feel like maybe, like, his Orisa wasn't that amazing, but it, like, got the job done. Like, it was hard. How do I explain this? It was hard for him to get, like, as much value as you'd see from, like, a previous year. or from season 2. But like he got the job done. Like they couldn't invest in him like in GOATs, you know? That's what I'm trying to say. His Winston, like he didn't get to play it as much, his signature character. And that maybe did kind of like bite him a little bit. Where's the feeding tier for Super? Yeah, Gushwei's Orisa wasn't that great, but I'm still pretty satisfied with how he played. Especially like on Ryan and Winston. Maybe Fate like did a little bit more, you could argue. But it was just a tough year. Like his support line wasn't in the best spot the whole year, like with Bebe, and then like going between IDK and Mika a lot. And then his off-tank situation was not the best until they signed QOQ. Rhea had the wrist injury going on, so that affected his play when he was playing. And then Sashin, however you pronounce his name, he was kind of a one-dimensional piece who could only really do anything on Zarya. Sigma was just like meh, so that kind of affected what Gushwei could play. So, yeah. There's some stuff that kind of held Gushwei back, but nonetheless, he was still a very good player. Like top 6 or like 5 main tank, I would say. Top, something like that. Super is basically just Karayan on Shock. Super, Mr. Cashew Delisi. I saw the cashew emote. Super Cashew. I thought that when Mr. Cashew Delisi did play that, it kind of did provide like this energy boost for the Shock. They did win a fair amount of maps when he was in there. Super clutch on Ryan as usual, but that's to be expected. And his Roadhog was surprisingly good too. I was very impressed. I did not think he had a Roadhog, but he showed me in the playoffs. It was pretty darn solid. One of the better ones. Probably like slightly below Janu, for me at least, in terms of overall ability on that character. Super just, he did his job. It's just, you know, Smurf is a god at some of the stuff that was played the most this year, so what can you do? Yeah, Smurf and Super definitely do play off each other very well. I agree. What about his Genji? Of course, the god. He beat Boston with it. I'll give Super an A tier. I might put him like above Dreamer, I guess. I was pretty satisfied with how Super played. Genji is not a tank. What do you mean? Of course it is, because Super's a main tank, so what else would he play? Super was their specialist. Yeah, in a way. But I was satisfied with Super. He did what he had to do. Super over Mono? What? Super's Genji is goated. Super over Dreamer. Did I say Mono? I have no idea what I said. Super is S tier. Super is like Draymond Green. He won't always get the credit he deserves, but his impact is noticed. Absolutely. Who would win, Super's Genji or Boink? That's a tough one. I think the world might end from its epicness. A 2-time AWL champion, just throwing it out here. That's enough about Super. You guys get the point. No Smite. I'm going to say No Smite is also in the B range. He was also kind of like a specialist for the most part. His Monkey was pretty darn good. He played like a little Orisa when Hanbin wasn't there when they played Orisa Ryan. I was pretty happy with No Smite. I don't really have a lot of complaints. Very good Winston, but worse than Ben Best on other tanks, so mid to low B. Yeah. No Smite was a Monkey specialist on Paris, though. That, like, he's not a bad tank. It's just, like, that was the role he played on Paris. They just found more success with Ben Best. But I'll put No Smite B. I think he deserves it. Because those times where he did play definitely did help Paris get out of some sticky situations. Like, I think one of my biggest memories, well, actually a couple of my biggest memories come against Philly. Some of those big wins they got against Philly. In the Summer Showdown when he played on Gibraltar, he looked really good. And then there was that time where Soldier was meta, and I think it was in week 5, and they got that big win, that big upset win over Philly. He was really good there too. Do you think main tank is the least stacked position in the league? Arguably so, yeah. One of the best Winstons, yeah. Nosmite was good. Marvel, he didn't really play main tank this year, so I guess we'll put a... It sounds stupid, but not enough play time because he didn't really play main tank. He was an off tank. He was a tank player in general, I guess you could say. Because he did play main tank like once or twice, I think. Yeah. He's an off tank, though. He was an off tank. I don't know what's going to happen in Season 4, but... Yeah. Ben Best. Ben Best, I think he definitely deserves A tier, in my opinion. But where do I want to put him in A tier? Because I really do have to apologize to Ben Best before I say anything else. I really do, because I let the past just completely get to my head. I'm like, oh, he was bad in Season 2. Paris were bad. Their players are bad. Ben Best is bad. But no. Ben Best got better coaching, and you saw the results. Huge redemption. The Ben Best redemption arc. He's an A-tier player. Above Super. Yeah, one of the better Orissas, no doubt about it. Okay, actually, I think I might put him above Super as well. Ben Best was a D tier, but he did very well. How is Ben Best not now anymore? I don't know. Ben Best definitely played. His Winston, though, wasn't that good. But he only did play it like a couple times because Nosmite was their special, so I can't really hold them against him. Sure. I'd say that's about right. He's like Super level. Maybe below Super. Like it's hard to judge with Super. I wish I had like a specialist here or something. It's hard to judge. Because like Ben Best played so much more. But their impacts, like Super probably had a larger impact. Ben Best like Super plays 2 heroes really well, but is an S tier on them. Yeah. Ben Best had a good Ryan. Surprised he didn't get picked up. Yeah. Absolutely. It's hard, like, these are pretty interchangeable for me, him and Super. They're like at the same spot, if that makes any sense. They're like tied. Ben Best is definitely S++ for how handsome he is, no doubt. Oh yeah, and then I saw someone saying, speaking of redemption arcs, Sado. The man who got doubted by everyone. The man who got nothing but hatred. The man who everyone wanted gone and was surprised wasn't gone. Sado. S-tier player in my opinion. Slightly below Fearless. Unbelievably good season. Below Mono? I disagree personally. Super has a bigger forehead, so points taken off. Sado had an amazing turnaround season. Like, I think that playing alongside a more tank-invested team really helped him out because he had Alarm and Funny Astro. He had supports who really had his back compared to Neptuno and Boombox. Huge improvement. I thought Sado's Rhine was the second best in the league. I thought his Winston was one of the better ones. His Orisa was consistent. His ball wasn't the best, but he didn't play a ton of ball. Sado and Fury were a fantastic duo. Sado can play every main tank, so he's above Fearless in your opinion. Fair enough. Just put Shredlock and Roar in D. Roar's definitely a D tier. Okay, this is... I think he's probably a little better than Muma. Like, I mean, like, a tiny, tiny bit. Like, so tiny. Like, there's barely any difference. Barely above Muma. Ask Philly who's better, Sado or Mono. Roar above Muma, yeah. It's pretty close, like, but I thought Roar was maybe, like, a teensy bit more impactful. Like, it's not saying much at all, but yeah. Roar's worse than J-Mac, but ever so slightly better than Muma. Yeah, I honestly think this is the most perfect and ideal spot to put Roar ever. Shredlock? Like, Shredlock wasn't that bad, but compared to the other main tanks, it's, like, hard to compare. Like, was he better than Numlocked and Beast? Like, it's hard to say with him because he played on Vancouver, and Vancouver just weren't good. Oh, it's really tough. I like Shredlock. I think he has potential, but I think simply because he played on Vancouver and, like, he didn't really get to show off much, probably, like, maybe a little bit above J-Mac. He's like Rio, but worse. Better than Defiant tanks. Okay, well, here's the question then. Should I put some more people in D tier? Should I, like, move, like, this lot down or, like, some of them? I gotta think about, like, just from the performance standpoint. Did I notice any sort of difference between Shredlock and, like, Beast and Numlocked? I really don't think I did. Like, Toronto were, like, a slightly better team, but impact-wise, they're very similar. So maybe, like... Okay, so, like... something like this, I guess? Do I feel better about that? It makes my C's, like, less cluttered, so maybe so. I think that's pretty good. I've seen a lot of people in chat say that's fair. I think that looks better. It looks cleaner. I think I'll keep it at that, though. I'm pretty satisfied with that. I know a lot of you guys aren't, but I expected that. I expected no less, because we all have different opinions. If we all had the same opinions in this world, life would be very boring. And I'm sure a lot of you would agree with me there.